You're welcome wherever you are joining us from. Can see some people are still coming in. Let's give them a minute so that those who are coming in can come in, and God will bless you. Maybe as they come in, we can listen to how the president of Tanzania thinks about what is happening in Kenya, even as we
Mkurugenzi wa Kituo cha Uwekezaji Tanzania anahojiwa kwenye TV akasema mwezi Mei na Juni tumepokea wawekezaji kiasi ambacho hatujawahi kupokea, wengi mno, na thamani ya miradi iliyokuja ni hii. Lakini ukitizama sababu ni nini? Sababu ni kwamba kwa jirani kuna waka moto, na mwekezaji hakai kuna kuwaka moto, wanakimbia wanakuja zao kwenye amani na utulivu. Ni waombe mkurugenzi wa Kituo cha Uwekezaji Tanzania anahojiwa kwenye TV akasema mwezi Mei na Juni tumepokea wawekezaji kiasi ambacho hatujawahi kupokea, wengi mno, na thamani ya miradi iliyokuja ni hii. Lakini ukitizama sababu ni nini? Sababu ni kwamba kwa jirani kuna waka moto, na mwekezaji hakai kuna kuwaka moto, wanakimbia wanakuja zao kwenye amani na utulivu. Ni waombe,
tuliambiwa by the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga that the president of Tanzania had come for some mediation here. But I will tell you a few things. If we are to borrow a leaf from Tanzania, then that might mean that the opposition will cry. I'll let you hear a few things that you may need to hear and to know about the people that we are saying that we should go borrow a leaf from. Yes, they are our neighbors, we like them, we love them. But when it comes to trying to get things done, you should always know that Kenya is a serious competitor, to Tanzania, or rather we should say Tanzania is trying as much as they can to be able to catch up with Kenya. And so when we are, looking for the people that should be telling us what to do and how to deal with the opposition, I will tell you that Tanzania may not qualify. I am just being truthful. That Tanzania may not qualify to be part of the people that should tell us what to do with our opposition here. Maybe some of you didn't hear, or maybe you didn't get to hear what the former Prime Minister said concerning the issues of mediation. But what I want to tell you, maybe it's a bit different because I want you to see a picture. How does Tanzania deal with the opposition? Why is it that they have some relative calm? And why is it that to them or in their country, they are able to stop mayhems, riots? Why is it that the government can rule and be able to execute their agenda without much interference or interferences from the opposition, and especially when the opposition becomes unruly and riotous, and when it becomes like a group that is out to just commit thuggery. You might be surprised that majority of the attacks that we saw on the opposition leaders' premises, businesses, homes, many of them you might be surprised that they were stage managed just to win some kind of sympathy from the public against the president. But I'm wondering, why is it that people would think it is easy to deal so badly with a man when he's still just a citizen, and when he becomes the president, you don't shudder? Yaani utese mtu kabisa akiwa sio rais na umnyanyase kiasi kikubwa sana. Kwa nini usifikirie kwamba ulimfundisha how to deal with you wakati ambao atakuwa rais? Alafu ukishawaza hivyo, unatafuta mbinu ya kutafuta amani na yeye, because if you don't, then of course it means that he can as well begin to work on you the same way you worked on him. There are so many ways that the president can get, the former government officials to toe the line because they are not like agreeing that this is the man that is in power. He has so many ways. And if we are to borrow a leaf from the president of Tanzania, as the former prime minister alluded to, I don't know that you heard him. Maybe those who didn't hear, I can play that clip for you here.
There have been also attempts from outside. I can now say it here, that the president from Tanzania came here 2 weeks ago at the invitation of President Ruto to mediate. And she was kept waiting, not from our side. We were available, but the other side was not available. She spent 2 nights here, and it was all in vain. Other people have tried. Right now I know that other people are also trying, but he's the one who's resisting. So he basically knows what he wants. I myself have said that I'm ready to sit with other people to discuss these issues. He is actually pretending, is living in delusion that we don't have a crisis. But we have a serious crisis that requires patriotism to resolve, and we are ready ourselves.
So that is a former prime minister talking there. But I think that there's a crisis which I believe that it is being imagined by the opposition. The opposition is imagining that there is a crisis they have created through the chaos. And so now they want to push for talks. Now, is it okay to say that maybe they invited the president of Tanzania for the talks? Because if they were available, how can it be that the person who invited them was not available? Because if the president invited the other president, then I suppose that the president would be the one available and the opposition the one that is not available. But as it may, we can just take it to be what we have had. We don't have to put our own much of thinking there. But then in a quick rejoinder, 15 hours ago, His Excellency the President Dr. William Ruto tweeted and said, my friend, at Raila Odinga, I'm off to Tanzania for a human capital meeting to harmonize the expansion of employment opportunities in our continent. I'm back tomorrow evening, and as you have always known, I'm available to meet one-on-one with you anytime at your convenience. Anytime at your convenience. WSR, that means William Samoei Ruto. And of course, let's see how it goes this evening. The president is coming back. But let me mention what I give some details of what I mentioned earlier. That if the opposition wants Kenya to borrow a leaf from Tanzania and the way they crack down on opposition, in their own country, then of course I believe it will not be something that would be very desirable. I remember the way they dealt with Bishop Gwajima, the member of parliament for Kawe constituency in Dar es Salaam, before he became a member of parliament, how a former president, when he was a sitting president, would send squads to go and, finish him. And only God delivered him. When you look at the way they dealt with the opposition immediately after this government came into power, actually through Magufuli, you remember that Magufuli was elected into the second term. Then he died, and that's how we got the current president, who was the vice president then in Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. And she became the president in the place of Magufuli. But when she was together with Magufuli, they, the ruling party finished opposition completely. The official opposition party, when they were going into elections, won only one seat. One. The chairman of the party, Chadema, didn't even win in his own backyard. And they dealt with the chairman, Bowe. Chairman of Chadema, Bowe, he was arrested when he tried to make some noise. He was arrested and charged with treason, with terrorism, and other charges. And he stayed in custody until Magufuli passed on. And even when Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan became the president, they thought she's going to release him immediately. She didn't. She continued to hold him. And some negotiations were made. And the day that he was released, he reported to State House. Now tell me, what do you think happened in prison that the chairman of the official opposition, when he is released publicly, he reported at State House and held talks with the president. And the next thing we see is when the ladies or the women of Chadema were holding a meeting, they called the president, who is actually a member of CCM, into their annual meeting. She was the chief guest. Effectively, it tells you that the opposition may have been pushed to a place where they cannot begin to make those noises like they do here. And if that is not enough, it was so tough that the former MP for Arusha, Mheshimiwa Lema, he had to run for his life and escape Tanzania. He came into Kenya. He was detained a bit. Wajakoya tells us he's one of the people that helped him to come here into the city. And later he was processed and he went to Canada where he was seeking asylum. And until Magufuli died, these guys were out there. And even when the opposition talked with the current president to maintain peace, law and order, and now he was ready to come back to Tanzania. I remember he came back here and then he went to Tanzania. One of the people that accompanied him was Wajakoya. Wajakoya has been banned from going back to Tanzania. Now you can begin to see, just because he attended that meeting, he was banned from going back there. When you look at, the threats to Lema's, Mheshimiwa Lema's life were real. And we can begin to talk about the way they dealt with the leader of opposition, Mheshimiwa Tundu Lissu, who is still in asylum, outside Tanzania, and who stayed for a long time. And when he came back, of course, he had to come back with assurances to the government that he's not coming back with an aim of trying to topple the government or to make Tanzania ungovernable. You see, people of God, and you remember he was accosted within parliament residential areas, and of course it was very unfortunate. A lot of bullets were hurled at his car, and he was flown here, where he was given some first aid, and then he was flown out to Europe, where he continued to be treated for a long time. Now, I was wondering, when the former prime minister was talking about Tanzania as though maybe they have a better record of helping the opposition. No. If the government was to buy a leaf from Tanzania, then there will be high-handedness in the manner in which they handle the opposition, to an extent that those who are crying now, they will not cry, they will run for their lives. So it is good that people speak and be told the truth, that if there is no bad manners from the opposition, then we do not have anything that the police can be accused of. But when there is bad manners of taking to the streets to riot, not to demonstrate, to riot, then of course, hitting at the police with stones and bullets and all manner of crude weapons and sophisticated weapons, then you understand that at some point it will just be natural for the police to stop the crowds and to immobilize the people they need to arrest. In the process, it is possible to even have some killed. But also, we have had people that are gun holders, licensed and unlicensed, using illegal firearms. Because if you're licensed to hold a gun in this country, if anybody sees a gun, then of course they may not go into details of, is it the one that you're licensed to hold, or is it another one? And so if they use weapons that are not licensed to arm civilians and police officers, then nobody will ever trace, who owns the gun that did what it did. And so that's why you see that prompted the police and the DCI and the firearms licensing board, to go to those extents that you saw them going to. But the truth is, the far that the opposition had come, unless the president wants to be overthrown, even if it was you or I, somebody would take action, would crack the whip, would put their foot down and say, not further from here, not anymore. You can't go past this line. Every man has their red light, their red line. Just like the former president said, no, you can't go beyond here. Of course, they should also expect the current president to have his own red light or red line where you can't go past that, and expect nothing from him. So it is good that as a country we maintain peace, but we can't borrow a leaf from Tanzania on the way they deal with the opposition. It is ruthless. The government, kuna kikundi inaitwa usalama wa taifa ambayo iko pale Tanzania. Maybe wale haujakuwa Tanzania. Me, I got saved in Tanzania. Niliokokea Arusha, Tanzania. Tanzania imekuwa kama nyumbani kwangu. In fact, kuna kipindi nilikaa huko mpaka watu wetu wakasema nishakufa, kwa sababu hawasikii nikiongea, hakuna simu, hakuna nini. Nimekaa Moshi Tanzania, nimekaa Moshi vijijini, nimekaa Moshi mjini, nimekaa kule Arusha ndio niliokokea, nimekaa Simanjiro, nimekaa kule Namberera, nimekaa kule Mwanza, nimekaa nafahamu kule Mwanza, Kahama, maeneo ya Shinyanga, maeneo ya Zega, Shelui, Iguguno, Sigida, Manyoni, Dodoma. Hayo maeneo nayafahamu. Morogoro, Iringa, ni maeneo ambayo nayajua vizuri. Hata Lushoto kule, mahali ambako akina former president Mkapa wako na mashamba kule, nakufahamu kule Lushoto mlimani. Tanga, maeneo hayo yote, Segera, maeneo yanayotoka machungwa mno. I know those places, yes. And kuna kitu inaitwa usalama wa taifa kule Tanzania, ambao kutrail ni kama CID hapa kwetu, ama ile ilikuwa special branch, ambao huwezi ukaepa, watakutrail kabisa. At some point, Mheshimiwa Gwajima, bishop wa ambaye ni wa pale Kawe, at some point ilibidi Mungu amsaidie ajue namna ya kuwaepa. Akifika kwa roadblock, anapanda pikipiki, gari yake inaenda na dereva peke yake, anapita, wanashangaa mbona hatumuoni na tulikuwa tunajua yupo kwenye town hii. Akifika another roadblock, anagundua njia ingine ya kuwaepa, anaepa kwa njia ingine, na mwishowe akajipata amefika Dar es Salaam kwenye usiku ule. Akasema nitakuja mwenyewe kwa polisi, ajipeleka. Sasa ikiwa imeenda public, wanashindwa hata muuaji. Nataka uelewe ya kwamba hapa kwetu Mungu ametusaidia. Mungu ametusaidia sana. Opposition yetu inakuaga ina ubaya mwingi, kuna vitu nyingi ambavyo ingependa kufanya ambazo sio sawa, na ni Mungu tu ametusaidia kama nchi ya kwamba nchi yetu inakuwa na marais wale Mungu anachagua. Mungu anafika mahali anasema ni sawa, huyu anafaa kulingana na macho ya watu, lakini Mungu mwenyewe anamkataa, anasema hata hivyo simtaki. So unakuta mtu ametolewa tu. Ndio Mungu atupatie nchi ambayo inaweza kuwa ya revival, ambayo italeta utulivu. Rais William Ruto, sababu ile wanajaribu kufanya hizi mambo anafanya ni ili wamzuie asije akatengeneza uchumi. Mipango yake ikifanya kazi, nchi itakuwa tofauti sana, sio kama hata Singapore au Malaysia, itakuwa tofauti sana, itabadilika. Mipango ile yako nayo akiweza kuiimplement bila kusumbuliwa, lakini wao wanajua, kwa hivyo wanang'ang'ana ili wasifike mahali ambapo wanaweza ona akifaulu, kwa sababu si unajua, of course hawakutaka wafaulu na hawakutaka awe rais. Sasa lazima either wakubali, kama vile ambavyo rais aliyestaafu alisema, he is my president, if he wants to talk to me naweza nikaongea naye, but I believe that it should be the opposite, because huyu rais aliyestaafu yeye ameinuka kupinga rais aliyeko, na siku akitaka wasikizane na waelewane, anaweza pia akamwambia, ndugu yangu, hakuna haja tuendelee na uhasama, unaweza wewe rais, na atokee hata make statements na kusema wewe ndiye rais, hivyo ambie watu wamsupport. Kama marais wote waliostaafu wanafanya hivi, wao wanaambia watu acheni kuja kwangu, mimi sio rais tena, rais wetu ni fulani. Wao wanafanya hivi. Wakishafanya hivyo, allegiance ambayo inaweza kuwa mistaken na watu ipelekwe kwa rais aliyestaafu, wao inarudi kwa rais aliyeko. Na rais ambaye amestaafu akifanya hivyo, huwa rais ambaye yupo hawezi kuwa na njia ya kuanza kuhujumu rais aliyestaafu. Lakini rais aliyestaafu akiamka kupingana na yule aliyeko, basi inakuwa sasa yule aliyeko lazima ajitetee na lazima aanze kujiuliza maswali, kwani huyu ana mpango gani? Manake huwezi write off mtu amekuwa rais miaka 10. Ina maana kwamba ako na influence kiasi fulani, na kwa hivyo hapa ni vizuri kwamba Mungu atusaidie, na tunapoomba pia tuwe tunaweza jua vizuri tunaomba tukielekea which side. Manake pande ile ambayo tunaelekea ni pande ambayo si nzuri sana, wakati ambao kuna mvutano hivi. Na pia nasema wasiseme ya kwamba eti rais wa Tanzania atawasaidia opposition, ni ngumu. Yeye anafurahi kwamba Kenya kuna waka na wawekezaji wanahama, wanaenda kwa nchi yao, biashara inaenda kwa nchi yao. Lakini kwa kwetu sisi kama kanisa ya Kenya ni vizuri tuombee taifa. Wacheni kushinda mkiambia eti rais enda ukaongee na opposition leader about what, kwa sababu hiyo kwenda kuongea, kanisa inastahili kuwa imesimama ikasema, Raila Odinga, wacha fujo, nje itajengwa na fujo ambao unaleta barabarani, ama unazuia watu siku kadhaa wasiende kazini, hivyo haitawezekana. Wa Kenya inastahili kuwa makanisa yanamwambia asober up, najua kuna rais, aheshimu rais, akubali ya kwamba rais yupo, amheshimu, ampatie nafasi aongoze nchi. Lakini ya kuinsist ya kwamba Raila ameleta shida, si Ruto uende muongee na yeye, umtulize kidogo, umpatie kile utampatia, alafu ndio anyamaze, kuwe na amani. Usipompatia atathrow tantrums again and again. No, and I can tell you this time, wakati ambao serikali imeflex muscles kidogo, Ndio maana umeona kumekuwa na utulivu, na leo hakuna maandamano, na wamesema hata kesho hivyo hakuna maandamano. Lakini wakiona kama hakuna hatua inachukuliwa, wanaongea. Ungesikiliza vile watu wanaongea hata kwenye mitandao. Yaani ungefikiri Kenya hakunanga uongozi kabisa, hakunanga rais, hakuna mtu mwenye anaambia watu what to do and what not to do. Ungefikiri hakuna polisi, hakuna serikali. Ungefikiri yani ni nchi yenye iko peke yake tu ambayo inangojea siku ile Raila basi atakuwa rais. Hapana. Hakuna mtu yeyote katika nchi hii ambaye atabenefit kutoka kwa destruction of infrastructure ama destruction of property, private and public. Hakuna mtu atabenefit. Watu wote ambao wanaweza kutengeneza nchi hawapendi chaos, hawapendi chaos, hawapendi kuharibia wengine siku mzima. Ukiharibiwa inamaanisha a lot, it means a lot. All day kwa imeharibiwa, haujaweza kufanya chochote, siku ikaisha toka asubuhi mpaka jioni, alafu kesho yake hivyo, alafu that day hivyo. Anybody mwenye ajui ya kwamba economy yako wewe binafsi inaharibika, unajipata ukiwa hauwezi ukafanya, mwisho wa mwaka ukipiga mahesabu yako, hizo siku zita-reflect katika losses ambazo umemake within the year. Lakini kama viongozi wanaweza enda waongeage huko wao, waongeage kama wangekuwa wanagongana mawe huko wenyewe, watakimbia Nairobi Hospital, wengine waende Ulaya watengenezwe warudi. Lakini huku chini wale watu wanapigwa ni watu ambao hawana namna ya kuweza hata kujipeleka hospitali, inakuwa vigumu. Na ni vizuri wale wako serikali, wale wako opposition, wafuasi wao ni vizuri wawaambie ukweli kwamba huwezi endelea hivi, hawezi endelea hivi. Maana huyu rais amewahi kuwa kwa opposition. Wakati alikuwa deputy president, he was shoved into the opposition by default. But he never called for demonstrations one day. No. He never went out to destroy properties so that Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga can listen to him. He stayed out of government that he helped to form. The budget made for his office was taken away, given to Raila Odinga and State House. And for 5 years, the government that he helped to build, he campaigned for, he crafted together with Uhuru Kenyatta, he saw it helping people that didn't work for it. And he never protested, he never went to the streets, he never made noise to the level of making life unbearable for Kenyans. If anything, it was the same regime of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga that would go and do some things like the shameful things that they were doing to say that it is Dr. William Ruto doing them. But people could see through the lines. People could actually see through it and know it is not him. You remember like a time that some poisonous stuff was being dished out so that it will mean it is the deputy president who was giving out food that was not good for human consumption. If really people meant well, they could have given more food that is good. But when they are giving the wrong thing to implicate him, because they can't and they could not help the common people. They could not give them food. They could not donate to them, but they were out there saying, his money is corrupt, whatever he's giving is bribery. But people listened to him. God favored him. He became the president. Right now he's the president, and I appeal to the president. Don't relent. Don't relent. Make it difficult for the people that want to destroy the country not to destroy the country. Don't listen even to religious leaders who will tell you, give something to the opposition leader. No, let them first understand that the opposition leader is not behaving well towards the office that you hold at this time. And then, of course, like in the issue of the bipartisan talks, I think the religious leaders and church leaders and leaders of the Islamic community, they are right that if the talks are resumed, at least the stalemate on IEBC can be dealt with. And that's okay because it is within the set parameters within Parliament. It is okay. It's something good. It's something good. But on the one that this man has made a lot of noise, he is scaring everybody. Please, we are scared. Talk to him nicely so that he stops that. No, don't talk to him nicely. The instruments you received can also punish. So when it comes to punishment, whether it is arresting and arraigning people in court, fear not, Mr. President. Let them get in there and let them understand that the law applies to everybody. And I believe that that is the reason why they have called off the demonstrations. I told you that I saw in a vision sometimes back that the president decided to strike these guys. And when he lifted his rod, as he was bringing it down to hit whoever is in front, and it was the two lions that were in front. I believe the two lions could be either Raila or Uhuru Kenyatta or Martha Karua. The elephant and the tigers could be the other guys there, Akina Omalo, Akina Kalonzo, and the other guys there. But when he turned, the lions were very swift. They ran fast, very fast. And then some of the other guys were hit. Two of them were hit. And then the other smaller animals come back for safety. And I saw one of the lieutenants, the MP of Embakasi, Honorable Babu Owino. I told you I saw him come to the president. And if I can give Babu Owino an advice, you have a future. These other guys are in their sunset. As for you, you are actually beginning. So look at where there is a pathway. Because I saw Babu Owino coming to the president. He was prostrating down. He knelt down and went on his belly. And he told him, I didn't know that it can get here. So please, I want to be one of your, watu wa mkono. And he told him, next time you want to visit, I'll be part of the people that will be your people on the ground. And so I know all these things, they are working together for good. And for Babu Owino, that means that God still has a place for him on this other side, and it will happen. You see, when I tell you something like this, I want you to know that when it is prophetically speaking, I tell you. When I'm just analyzing situations, I tell you. But on this one, I saw that all these things that you see, you will begin to understand that these people don't come to help him when he's arrested. You begin to understand that he's facing these things alone. And you begin to see where is it that he is able to politically have a bigger capital to continue with his political life. And soon he will cross to the other side. Watch, it will happen. I tell you, it will happen. Many years ago, I told you that Ababu Namwamba will work with Dr. William Ruto. He resigned and he went to work with him. I saw it. I saw it. I saw it in 2018. And I repeated it again. And it happened just before the elections. I'll tell you this, children of God. God has a very good plan for our country, and this nation will prosper. This country, it will prosper according to what the Lord spoke. It will prosper. So you may not need to borrow a leaf from Tanzania. They are ruthless dealing with opposition. But the truth is, God is going to help His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, so much, with or without the help of the opposition. So it is not a must that he gives the opposition what they are asking for. No, he just needs to stamp his authority that this is the government. When Raila Odinga and Mwai Kibaki had, something like what is happening right now, Miguna tells us that they went to see Kibaki when it was said they are going to have a face-to-face meeting, and they found the Mzee was still asleep. And he was talking from a curtain, the other side of the curtain. And Miguna and the other younger people told Raila Odinga, why don't we walk away? And he told them, it's not possible. And he made them to understand, even though we have these issues, but this is the president. They didn't get it. So he told them, once the president has been sworn in, he is not just the common mwananchi anymore. So he knows it. He knows what that means. But these guys, sometimes they may pretend out here as though they don't understand that, but they do understand. And so the president, with or without the help of the opposition, he is going to cause this country to prosper. And it's going to prosper, in leaps and bounds. The only thing that we are believing God for, and we are praying day and night, is for the safety of His Excellency the President. If he doesn't pose threat to these guys, but then if they got an opportunity to eliminate him, they will not hesitate. But thank God that what they could have used was snatched away from them by our God, and it was given to him, and he has not used it against them. So why is it that they are still disturbing him? It is because they think their wickedness is a strength, and his, pragmatic approach is a weakness. That's what the problem is. If the man with the sword behaves in a pragmatic manner, he is magnanimous, he is forgiving, he believes in the Bible properly, them they don't. They believe in, the philosophies. But when he's behaving that way and trying to calm them down, please, guys, there's no need for all this, then they are saying, I wish I was the one with that power. I would have dealt with you. Then he's saying, I have it, but it is not for that work. I'm reserving the energies for the building of the country. And then they continue to disturb such a man. Then if he gets to the point where Moi got to, in 82, after the coup, when people said Moi is a passing cloud, then that attempt changed Moi completely into, the man that he became afterwards. So now, do you again say that he is becoming so bad simply because you made him so? You know, people saw a very different man after that. I pray that this is not going to happen again at this time. And it is good for everybody that talks to the men in government or the men in opposition to tell them the truth, that the ability of the president to deal with those that are unruly ruthlessly is still available. It's only that he's chosen not to use it. Now, why don't you congratulate him for that and give it to him that he's being a gentleman? But when you portray it like a weakness and you think in your mind that if we push him a little bit more, then he can give in. My friend, what if the opposite happens? What if the opposite happens? What will happen? So let's allow the country to move on and to have everybody in every part of this country. Everybody wants to engage in meaningful nation building ventures, whether in Mombasa or Kisumu, Moyale or Namanga, Central or Rift Valley or Nairobi here. People want to engage in meaningful, nation building ventures, because it is only those ones that can be able to help you and I get out of the bondages of poverty, lack of food on the table, or lack of any other essential in life. But it is not trying to undermine the government. No. If the opposition doesn't want nusu mkate and the government doesn't want nusu mkate story, then I believe they are in agreement. Then there is nothing to talk much about. Anything that remains can be talked over in parliament, and people can keep on, can move on with the institution set. I think the only thing that the president is, and he doesn't want, is another institution that is born out of chaos, born out of force. We will force him to the negotiating table. I believe that language will not work. It will not work. Because if somebody wants anything from government, then I believe there are better ways of doing it, not forcing those who have it into negotiation. No, I don't think so. So God bless you so much. Continue to pray for our country. Don't desire a Tanzanian solution to Kenyan issues. It will not work. It is worse there. Talk to the opposition guys there. Ask them whether they can actually announce, leave alone going out to the streets, whether they can announce demonstration. Ask them. They can't. There is no room for that. There is no room to come on TV and say, you are not the president. You'll be picked from that station and maybe never be seen again, because there, ask the opposition there. See whether you can see them going out, to riot against the government. When did you hear that there were demonstrations in Tanzania? So that now we can borrow a leaf from them and know how to deal with demonstrations here. When did you ever hear that there was a demonstration there? The high-handedness manner in which they handle demonstrations, I don't think that the opposition leader would want that to be a solution here. And so let's keep on praying for the country. Let's agree that there are things that are already behind us and we can focus forward. And I believe there is nobody who is out to hurt the former prime minister or the former vice president or the former president. I believe there is nobody who is out to hurt them. When Kimani Ichung'wah said that hizo mashamba zitavamiwa, the opposition ran to go and stage manage uvamizi, alafu ndio wachukue maneno na actions waunganishe. media ikashindwa kuunganisha properly. Kwa sababu media ndio ilikuwa inataka kutengeneza a narrative, wacha waende waibe wao wenyewe, waingie huko waibe, alafu sasa maneno yaunganishwe na actions, waone kama inaweza kuwa. Wasema polisi waende wakaarrest wale watu. Sasa ni watu wenu, kwani waarestizi wanawaacha tu? Nasema waendelee tu, sababu wenye kupanga, wenye kuchukua, wenye kurudisha, wote ni the same people, because you without arrest they walirudisha some of them. So it is ironical to see those are very desperate measures in a democracy ambayo hakuna mtu anatafuta mwingine. I pray ya kwamba Mungu atusaidie kama nchi, ya kwamba tuweze kusonga mbele properly. Watu wengi waliouawa, unasikia kwamba wengi walikuwa kuna watu wana handle bunduki among the protesters ambao sio watu wa serikali. But I wonder, I listened to one of the media houses yesterday, and I wonder they only believe in Azimio and ODM, and what they say is the only thing that makes sense to them. They can't understand how people that are holding guns who are not part of the police. Of course, the police are plainclothes policemen. They are there, many of them. And so within the protester, they also have the ability to have their own people handling guns within the ranks. We saw one who came with a uniform, complete with a pistol, although he was overpowered very quickly, and he was trying to charge the others, to move forward. I believe that our country is bigger in reputation than some of the things that we are doing. And if the president can do something and have relative calm, peace, people go about their businesses as normal, as usual, then I think he should be allowed to do anything that is within the Constitution and within his power. And then we have a peaceful country. At the end of the day, all these people are paid to make the noise they make. They are paid to talk. You and I, our responsibility is to look after what is ours. You had the former president say, when I was the president, I took care of the country. Now I take care of the family. And if them they have that sense, then also you should have the same sense and not really run after these leaders so much. And God is going to help you as you think that way, and as you continue to believe God for a better tomorrow. God bless you so much and do you well. I love you. And Jesus loves you the more. This country was created by God. So don't tell God's people to be out of what is happening. The soil called Kenya was created by my God, my Father. It belongs to us. It is our family property. Please, don't tell those who serve him to keep off. There is no sphere that we are going to keep off from. No. In every sphere where the voice of God is needed, we are going to voice it there. And so let nobody say, you guys, clergy, stay in your corner. We are men of God. We are not men of cloth. We are men of God. And men of God, we are spiritual. And where spirits are, there we shall be. Those who have understanding have understood what I've said. God bless you and do you well. I love you and have a lovely day ahead. You're blessed.